On this day in 1927, John Thomson made his debut for Celtic. Celtic's 6-3 win away to Brecon City in the second round of the Scottish Cup on the 5th of February 1927 proved to be a fateful day in their history. Goalkeeper Peter Shevlin, who had taken over from the legendary Charlie Shaw and had been an ever-present in the previous league-winning season, conceded 3 softish goals, and willy-nilly decided in the aftermath that 18-year-old John Thomson deserved his chance the following week. The league race was reaching a vital stage, with Celtic in third place, 4 points behind Rangers and Motherwell, who were both on 36 points. Celtic had 3 games in hand on Motherwell, but only 1 on Rangers. The young Thomson was being thrown in at the deep end. The match was broadcast live on 5SC, an early forerunner of Radio Scotland, which could be tuned into up to 75 miles from its Blythswood Square headquarters if you owned a 2-valve radio set. For those using a crystal set, the signal could only be picked up within a 25-mile radius. As news broke early on Saturday morning that the Celtic Park Pavilion had been broken into overnight and the managers' and trainers' rooms ransacked, the Glasgow Herald reported, "Drawn together in the Scottish Cup a week hence, today's game is therefore in the nature of a full-dress rehearsal for the bigger event. As Celtic's recent displays have been none too convincing, and Dundee have made a remarkably good recovery after their bad spell, the outcome of the game is very open. If the Parkhead halfbacks can hold the sprightly Dundee attack, the champions stand a splendid chance of capturing the points." Even into the late 1920s, the newspapers of the day gave every impression that the Scottish Cup was still the most prestigious competition in Scotland. Dark Blue, in the Dundee Courier of the 14th of February 1927, wrote, "Really, the Dark Blue supporters cared little what happened, so long as they got inklings that their favourites could knock McStay's men out of the cup. Fortunately, these inklings did appear." In front of 17,000 fans at Dens Park, Celtic lined up J. Thomson, W. McStay, Hilly, Wilson, Donoghue, Doyle, Connolly, A. Thomson, McGrory, McAnally, McLean. With an understrength 11, Dundee held their own in the first half. Dudhope in the Sunday Mail of the 13th of February writing, "Celtic did not seem to bother much until a goal down." That goal came just before the interval, and when it did, John Thomson looked none too clever. The Sunday Mail reporting, 4 minutes from the end of the first period, Cook wandered away on the left and bobbed a simple ball goalwards. Thomson, the Wellesley boy who deputised for Shevlin in the Celtic goal, misjudged its flight and the ball hit a post and toppled through. Straight from the restart, Celtic piled on the pressure, with the Dundee Courier writing on the 14th of February, "After the resumption, a Celtic victory was in the air. You could see it coming." That day's Dundee Evening Telegraph reported, "On the Celtic side, there was much talent. One can understand quite readily why McGrory gets so many goals. He gets the chance, is spoon-fed in fact, and when one considers that he is an opportunist of the first water, 'nuff said." In McAnally, he had at his side the mastermind of the attack, and in Thomson, on his other hand, a player not so spectacular, but almost equally effective. Then there were the wingers, who could get ahead and get the ball across, and that's what Dundee were often short of. Alec Thomson equalised from close range on 50 minutes, and the winner came 10 minutes later. The Sunday Mail reporting, "Dundee's defence wavered then, and fine work by Connolly took the ball goalwards, and a mix-up by the backs let McGrory get what he had worked hard for." It hadn't been a spectacular debut from John Thomson, and he wouldn't have been happy with the goal he conceded, but nevertheless, he made a good impression on most observers. The Dundee Evening Telegraph reported, "Thomson in goal was reminiscent of Shevlin at his best," while the Dundee Courier noted, "Celts have picked up a smart lad in Thomson, a nimble keeper." The Sunday Mail wrote, "Thomson in Celtic's goal made a good initial appearance." It might have been expected that the youngster would drop back into the reserves after his first outing, but already showing amazing self-confidence, that was the last thing on his mind. Jimmy McGrory wrote in his biography, A Lifetime in Paradise. I remember afterwards, one of our directors, Tom Colgan, came into the dressing room for a chat with the players, something he often did. Tom was a gem of a man and never spoke out of turn, and all he said to John about that goal was, "That was a bad one to lose, John." And it was at that early stage of his career that we got the first hint of our keeper's confidence in his own ability, especially from a boy who was just breaking through and not even certain of a first-team place the following game. He replied immediately, "Don't worry, sir. I've been taught never to make the same mistake twice. I'll be fine for next week."